Okay, welcome back. We've got a phenomenal opportunity here to work on a 1936 Nash. This thing has been sitting for 63 years. The head's off the motor right now, it's in the trunk, so we're gonna have to reassemble the motor somewhat, but all the parts are here. We have everything we need. This here is gonna be another birthday special, and it's for one of the original owners. This car is still in the original family that bought it locally here, and it got handed down a couple generations, but it's been sitting ever since 1961. The body on this thing is super solid. If possible, we want to stick with the original motor. We want to get this running for the son of the original owner for his 70th birthday, which is coming up here. We got about 5 weeks to get this thing ready. We're going to focus on at least getting it running, driving. If we have enough time, maybe we'll try to spruce up the paint and the interior a little bit, but for now we want to make sure we can actually get it moving under its own power again and possibly just get it roadworthy. Super excited to work on this thing, so let's go ahead and jump right in and take a quick look around this thing. We're going to load it on a trailer and haul it over to my place. I'm going to do it all in the shop there. Should be pretty fun. Let's go. Okay, so here you go. The motor has been covered, but it is getting some surface rust. We're going to have to make sure we clean all that real good. Now this thing has 2 spark plugs per hole, and there are more distributor parts in the cab here. This was originally kind of a maroon or burgundy color with black fenders. All the windows are here. None of them are smashed out, which is super cool. The head's in the trunk here. We'll go ahead and take a look at that once we haul it over to my place. But as you can tell, this thing has been sitting for a while. It's got the suicide door in the back. Oh, okay, so this window here looks like it had a little damage on it, maybe some heat, and it's got a crack right here. It's got the seat still in it. We don't have a cushion down here, but that's okay. As you can see there's more parts over there. And then there's even a spare tire and more parts in the back here. The dash in this thing is super cool. And so is the steering wheel. I believe we actually have another steering wheel as well. This guy was super into his Nash vehicles. You got a clock over there on the passenger side on the glove compartment. You got a couple more gauges and controls here, and we're gonna have to play with this stuff a bit because I'm not very familiar with these rigs, but man, that's neat. What do we have here? Nash Healy Car Club. Right on. That is super cool. It has all of the original hubcaps. There's a bunch of the spark plugs. Like I said, another distributor cap right there. This car also, like some of the other ones we've done, has a factory spotlight built on the side here. Got the visor on here. Some of these tires are flat, but a few of them are holding air still, or it seems like they are. The rest of the body parts are in a Connex, and so we're gonna grab those right after we load it up. But there she is. Super excited to work on this thing. We're gonna get ready to load it up and haul it over to my place. All right, she's all loaded up on the trailer, ready to head over to the house. Woo, looking good. back. We're dead. So we got the old girl in the garage, and before we get working on it, and there's a few things I want to show you. This motor here actually spins free. I can turn it over. I got a wrench on the crank there, and it actually, the water pump comes off the back of this generator, and that spins free as well. The carb linkage is free. You can see it kind of comes up around this pulley here. Things are looking great. There's just one problem, and we can't find parts for that motor. We know we have the head and the trunk here. Let's get the trunk open. There's the head. And that's all fine and dandy. Great, we could clean that up, but we've sifted through everything in here. There is no rockers. There's no push rods anywhere in here. And we can't find any from anybody. We got an extra hubcap there. There's a bunch of other junk. But as far as other parts that we need, we've reached out to a couple clubs. Can't find any parts. Reach out to a couple junkyards. We even tried looking for just a full donor car. Nothing. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and rip this motor out for now. We're just going to put it to the side over here. And hopefully if we can come across a few parts down the road, we'll rebuild this motor. But for now, we're going to use a donor motor out of another unibody that we have that's very close in size. And then one other thing I wanted to show you. Let's get these doors open. Super cool with the suicide door. I'm going to be real careful here because these folks would love to hang on to this stuff. This here is an old Nash brochure or something like that. And actually, just by reading this brochure is how we found out this Nash is actually an Ambassador 6, because it gives you the wheelbase and whatnot down here. We weren't sure if it was an Ambassador or a Lafayette, and that's how we figured that out. The wheelbases are all different on those, but that's super neat. They're probably going to want to frame that. The next thing I want to be extremely careful with is there's a local newspaper here from 1928. It does open. We've already checked it out. I want to be super careful, but I'm going to see if I can get it opened up here for you. There's some really neat stuff in here. I don't really know if I should be opening these pages, but there's a lot of car stuff in here. I believe those are vehicle prices from back in the day. Let's see if we can get another page out of this thing. Goodrich tires. Look at that. That is so cool. How cool is that? Crazy to see something this old. And there you go, look at that. Nash Ambassador right there. Awesome. A lot of car stuff in here. Man, that's neat. I'm gonna go ahead and get these put to the side, get them out of the way. I don't wanna damage those in any way. Now here, we actually have a brand new head gasket still in the packaging. So here you go. I'm pretty sure this was a brand new head gasket for this motor. Sitting in there since who knows when. And I think the old head gasket is actually still in here as well. Yeah, right here. So that one must have came out of there. They were going to replace that. Super cool, super crazy to see all this stuff. Not often you come across something like this. These new parts in here, yet we still can't put this motor together. So hopefully we can come across some parts from somebody. Maybe somebody will reach out. It'd be great to put that motor back the way it was originally. But for now, I'm gonna get this stuff all packaged up and out of the way. We're also looking for a seat bottom for the front seat here. My buddy's got a couple feelers out to different junkyards again and other folks in clubs. Hopefully we can get our hands on something like that. The rear seat's all there. We'll clean things up as best we can. We're gonna start pulling this one out, putting it to the side for now. Try to get that other motor shoehorned in here and see if we can get this thing running and driving with a donor motor for now. Okay, so I'm trying to be super careful to not break any nuts and bolts here. So far so good, everything's come out nicely. Using heat and penetrating fluid. And here is the first piece off. The whole intake exhaust manifold with the carburetor. I'm just going to start pulling pieces off little by little here until we got everything unhooked. I don't want to really mess anything up here. I don't want to change anything here because we would like to put this motor back in here someday if we get the parts. Now that I have the manifolds out of the way, I should be able to unhook everything else and we'll pull this thing out as one piece. So let's see how it goes. So I've just about got everything unhooked from this motor to be able to pull it out of here. And as you can tell, my buddy was ready over here pulling the wheels off. He's painting the wheels. He got brand new tires just getting put on them. We've had a few changes over the last couple days. The motor we were planning to use in here, since we couldn't find parts for this motor or a spare motor, we're not going to use that anymore. A guy out of Illinois off the Nash Facebook page posted a motor out of a 39. This is a 37, but it looks almost identical to this one. The only difference is the exhaust and intake manifold that comes off of this side is a little different on that one, but I think we can work with that. He said it was a good running motor, and that was probably about the only option we had to try to keep this thing as original as possible. So that should be here in a couple days. The motor's about ready to pull. I got my buddy coming over right now. I'm going to pull that bumper off, and then he's going to help me pull this front clip, and then we can rip this thing out of there. And as soon as we get all that done, and if we're still waiting for the motor, I'm going to go ahead and start on going through the brakes and the fuel system, because we're getting down to the wire here. It'd be really nice to meet the deadline we had set for ourselves. It's not 100% crucial that we do, but it would be pretty neat if we could have this thing at least running for his father-in-law's birthday. So let me go ahead and get that bumper pulled. He'll be here in a few minutes. We'll get that front clip pulled, and then we can get right on pulling that motor. Okay, this should slide right out of here, hopefully. All right, there we go. So yeah, it should just slide right off. Oh yes. That'd be good, I bet. Yeah, that's why I didn't want to risk it, you know, with risk it for the biscuit. That wasn't too bad. Now we have complete access. Okay, we're getting ready to pull this motor here. We decided to pull the motor without the train. Everything's unhooked. It should pull right out. The only two mounts on the motor are right up here. We already tested to make sure they actually pop out of the mounts there. It's kind of funky, there's no rubber on those, it's just hard mount. But we should be all unhooked, and it should just kind of pop right out. So let's get to it. Okay, it's going to lift up a bit. Wow. It should all be unhooked. There it is. There it is. Told you it'd be easy. Okay.
Oh, yeah, I'm going awesome.
I wonder if this thing's ever been out of here.
Probably not.
Probably not.
I know who to ask.
Probably not.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's
Pull it back.
pull her back and set her down on the ground. Come your way. Yeah, there you go. You good?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Well, there you have it. That motor's out of there. But now we can get things cleaned up, get it all prepped for that new motor, and hopefully just kind of shoehorn that thing in here, and hopefully it works. Hopefully we can get it running in about a week. All right, now that we got the motor out of there, we got to get going on the fuel system, and we got to get going on the brakes. Let's start with the fuel system. We're going to make sure there's no fuel in this tank anymore. There is a drain plug in these, so that's pretty cool. And then if it's empty, we'll go ahead and probably drop the tank so we can clean it. And then we can blow out all the lines. So let's go ahead and see if this drain plug comes out here nice and easy for us. Oh, wow. Thing is on there. Yeah, we might be best just to pull this whole tank. We couldn't get the drain plug out, so you know what? We're gonna just go ahead and drop this tank. We think we've got everything unhooked, and I think we're ready to let this sucker down. Okay, here we go. Oh, we got some wires here that are covered in tar. There it is. Okay, so you can see we got the tank out here. I got a little bit of red diesel here. We're just going to use that to slosh around in this thing and then dump it out, try to get any grit out of this thing. And then after that, we'll blow the line out, make sure it's all clear and free. We'll throw the tank back up in there, and that way once the motor shows up, we should be able to get fuel up to that thing and hopefully be able to get it running. So I'm going to do this just a couple times and see if we can't get most of the grit out of this thing here. Oh my goodness, black. I might need to go get more diesel. Oh, wow, that's nasty. A lot of black stuff came out with that. And we'll put, you know, like 5 filters in line. Oh, way better. Oh, never mind. Spoke too soon. That's looking a lot better. I'm starting to hear some grit running around in there. I don't hear any more grit running around, so I feel pretty good about that. I think we got the tank pretty clean. Let's go ahead and get set up to blow that line out, and then we'll get this thing popped back up in there. I'm going to throw a little bit of brake cleaner in this line back here. Squirt, squirt. And then I'm going to put air to it, and we'll go up front and see if it comes out the front there. Woo! Right in the eyes. That burns. That burns. So that's the fuel line right there. I'm going to go back with the air, and we'll see if any brake cleaner comes blowing out of there. Oh, nothing. Right?
Nothing.
Oh, no. Oh, a lot of junk in there. Oh.
Can you taste it?
Oh, man. Oof. Let me put some more brake cleaner in there.
Is that premium?
Yeah. Premium varnish.
You want to try to blow it reverse?
Yeah, maybe I should. Okay. I'm coming up there. They're extremely blocked up on the old fuel line. We're going to try from this side. There was a lot of chunks coming out from the other end. We're just going to fill this line with brake cleaner, and hopefully it starts breaking stuff down. Let's give that a shot. Yeah, we ain't getting nothing through there. I'm gonna have to start feeding welding wire in from both sides. I put a little bit of welding wire in the side back by the tank. I can feed it in about 1.5 feet until it's starting to just get weak. It's going around bends and whatnot. I tried putting it in this side. I had this little piece of tube on here, And I believe this thing's actually was clogged up. Sprayed some brake cleaner in here. And I'll do a little more here. Doesn't seem to be going too far, but I'm going to go spray a little more in the back, and we're going to try it again now without this little piece of rubber line in there, and see if we get any action that way. You ready?
Yep. It was squirting a little bit when you were doing that.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Bad?
It was.
Should I do a couple rounds of brake cleaner?
Yeah, maybe do one more, and I'll see how. Yeah, I should do like a slow-mo on that. That was kind of cool.
Let me know when you're ready.
All right, we're ready.
Yeah?
Yep.
Here we go. So that means that rubber line is plugged up. I'm not really sure if it's the actual rubber part that just expanded over the years, like kind of like a brake line does, or if it's just full of junk. It feels like it might have closed up on us. Oh, maybe not. Oh, no, there we go. Came through. Oh, wow. Well, we might be all right. I guess now we're going to go back and throw that fuel tank back in, and we should have a fuel system ready to come up to the motors. That's no bueno. Unless this pump don't work. We do have another pump. All right, we moved to a new fuel pump. Yeah, buddy!
Woo, let's clean the
We
Nash
got,
off. Right, turn
that
it
worked.
off.
I guess this pump don't work. This one does. We got fuel coming, so we're gonna shut that off. Now we're primed up, ready for when we put the motor in here. I think it's time to address the brakes on this thing. I want to take a peek inside the drums here. We did throw new hoses on both front corners and then one in the rear. I'm gonna go ahead and start pulling these off and see if we can't take a peek inside here, make sure everything looks good in here. And if that's good, we got a new master cylinder here. We're gonna throw that in and hopefully get these brakes bled out. That way, our brakes and our fuel system are all good to go once that motor gets here. And we hopefully will be able to just throw that motor in, try to get it running, and we should be able to drive it at that point. So let's go ahead and dive into these things and see what we're looking at. Looks like it might slip off there without beating it. Yep. I like that. Okay, pretty crusty, but not too bad. And actually it's still got some meat on the shoes here. I don't know about the wheel cylinder. Hopefully that is still decent and doesn't leak on us, because if we can leave these alone, I would like to. I think what we'll do is we'll spray this all down with brake cleaner, blow it off with air, and to get all this dirt and grime out of here, and slap her back together. The bearings look pretty darn good. There it is. Wow, there's a lot of grime in that one. Still got a decent amount of meat on these ones as well. So let's move on to the back and pull those off. See how we're looking back there. It turns out you actually have to use a puller to get these things off of here, with that key in there and the tapered axle. And a lot of times these guys use it. It's like a big heavy duty puller that sits on the lugs, and it tightens up against the center shaft here, the axle. I don't have one of those, so we're gonna have to figure out a solution to work around that, or possibly find one of those. But until we do, I'm gonna go ahead and throw all this back on. I already put the nut back on here. And we're gonna go ahead and leave this for now, just so I'm not sitting here messing with it all night. I'm gonna move over to getting that master cylinder in there and see if we can't get fluid through all these brake lines. Yeah, one more thing I'm going to do before I throw that master cylinder on there. I'm just going to blow off these fronts here, spray them with brake cleaner real quick, get the grime off it. I want to get these drums back on here, and then we'll get that in. And while I'm up here, I'll probably blow a little air in the exhaust, make sure it's free of any debris. Get this thing good to go. quick little spray down. Make sure everything is dried up. I'll go ahead and pack some new grease in the bearings here, and then we should be able to throw these back on. The bearings are repacked. Everything is cleaned up on these things. Let's go ahead and throw these back on here. And that way we can move on to getting that brake master on there. Well, I wasn't able to get the master cylinder up there last night. Ran out of time. So the old one is tucked right under here. I just got to take these lines off, the mounting bolts off. This pin should slide out and go right in the new one. I'm gonna go ahead and pull that out a minute, and we'll shove this one in there. Okay, so there's the old one. Okay, I got this thing bench bled. Put some new crush washers in this whole deal here. I think we're ready to throw her back up, and I'm gonna pull these lines out, and then we'll stick her up in there. All right, back under the car we go. All right, the new master cylinder is in, and I am covered in brake fluid. I'm bleeding the brakes here. We got a few of the corners done. We're working on the last corner. Everything's going real well. I can't do my signature brake bleeding on this one because the actual bleeder is hex head. I'm having Rust Daddy here working the pedal, and then we're just basically going through each corner, letting the fluid out. We're on the last corner now, and it's going real well. We should have brakes once this is done, so.
Okay.
Maybe one more time.
Okay.
All right, how's the pedal feel?
Feels great.
Does it?
Oh yeah. I bet she'll stop this thing.
Oh yeah, that feels pretty good. Okay, brakes are done. Moving on to the motor. Well, our motor showed up, and it's the kind of deal where you get a knot in your stomach. This is not how it left the place it shipped from, but that's what we have now. The carburetor broke off. The fuel pump, wherever that, oh, fuel pump's right there. Fuel pump broke off. The distributor is under here somewhere, and it's a 12-wire distributor. Bent the fan, not a good deal. But I think I have a plan. I'm gonna probably swap the head from the other motor that we had onto this one. That way we can use the manifold that we have for already that was on the car, and just throw this motor together. We do have a full gasket kit that we had made, so it's a real bummer, but we just gotta make do with what we have here. So I'm gonna get this over to the house, and we'll get set up to start swapping parts. Well, here's the motor. Got her over to the house here. This side here, basically, as you saw, the carburetor busted off right off the mount. Everything else on this side is kind of decent, I guess. Fan blades are bent. Come over to this side. Look at that distributor. What a shame. Fuel pump goes right there, busted right off. Man, that's a bummer. But she's up right now. Here's all the parts that basically were just hanging there. So I think I got a good plan though. Here's the head from the original motor. I'm gonna try to salvage that and use that. I already checked all the valves to make sure they all opened, and they do. I'll steal some parts off of this motor, such as a distributor, possibly even coils, and of course that fuel pump. We did order a new gasket kit here from Olson's Gaskets, so we'll put that to good use. And then here's all the parts I had torn off of this car already. I'll end up, if I use the original head, I'll be able to use this manifold and carburetor and everything. It might actually make things a little easier. And then we can hopefully get things all thrown back in the frame here. And I'm just gonna go ahead and use the tranny that's already in here. It's a big bummer. Everybody's kind of upset about it, but we just gotta keep rolling. We're gonna start tearing this motor apart here. I already have the bolts or the nuts off of the valve cover. We'll pull that off. It looks really good inside here. Everything's super clean. We're gonna go ahead and pull this head. Our other head has 12 studs on this side, and this one only has 8. So I don't even know if that head will work in this motor. If I really have to, I'll use the original motor, but I'll have to really clean it out. The only thing we really needed out of this motor was the rockers and the push rods. We couldn't find anything for this thing, and then this motor popped up on Facebook, so we snagged it, and it showed up like it did. But either way, I think we have enough parts to make something happen now. So I'll pull this rocker assembly. We'll get that off of there. We'll get all these stud nuts off of here, and get this head pulled and see what we're looking at then. All right, there's the rocker assembly. Wow. Now I probably want to keep these push rods. I don't know if they're all the same. Oh, it sounds like there's little check balls down there. Oh yeah, there is. Wow, I need to be careful. So these appear to all be the same length, so that's good. Okay, spark plugs are all out. We should be loose.
It's probably been sitting on there 87 years.
Like you mean?
I think we might need a bigger hammer.
Oh man, that thing is on there.
Why? How much you need it?
There's little side plates on this side that's got bolts going through that go right into the side of the head. So apparently we got to take those out too. All right, so that might help. Oh! Oh, there it is. It does look like this is a little different. On the original motor, there's 12 studs on this side. And this one, there's only 8. This side looks about the same. And the head gasket actually looks very similar. What do you think?
Just do like I think we just do like the head stud delete kit on it.
Head stud delete kit?
Yeah.
On that or this?
Well, if we're using that block, we use the other head, right? Let's maybe just see if that thing will like set on the studs.
Oh, this one?
Yeah.
Yeah! So this is the original head from our motor. So that does actually sit on there. Yeah, we're going to use this head. Depending on if any of these water jackets line up with the extra studs on there. And it does. It does line up with that. The water jackets in that block. See that?
So this head gasket
has to go to that motor. But this head is very different. I think we want to use this head because we can use your manifold. You know. So then I think we're going to end up probably using your block. It's all part of the game. You know what I'm saying?
No, I'm saying. So what? Let's grab that rocker assembly and see if that lines up to this head.
Yeah. If that lines up, and also, okay, I got a good idea. We'll throw your head back on your motor because you got a gasket kit now. Really, then all we needed this thing for was the rockers, the push rods, which we couldn't find anywhere. It's still worth it.
It's a rocker and push rods.
Yeah, $2 grand for rockers and push rods.
Don't tell me that.
You were gonna buy a whole new car.
I'm gonna throw up. What?
So, since we want to use this motor now, we're just kind of going through what we can do, our options. It's pretty dirty in by these lifters here, as you can see. So I think what we'll do is we'll pull this side plate off, which might prove a little bit difficult. We'll pull that side plate off, try to get everything cleaned out in there, and we're gonna prep this block, get the head put on here, and basically all we're gonna use from this motor now, which really sucks, but I think all we're gonna use is pretty much what's in here. Push rods, rocker assembly, valve cover, and these gaskets that we had made from Olson's Gaskets, right? Yeah, yep. Olson's Gaskets. Yep. Either way, we're gonna end up using that block now. Original head that was in the back of this car. This block's junk. That head's junk.
Boat anchor.
And we got to get to work. All right, so we're gonna start by putting the check balls and lifters here.
I like them. Well, then you can wear tennis shoes and they're not like massive.
We're trying to film a production here, so if you want.
It's not even. Oh, it is filming.
Get check balls installed. We're gonna need this. We're gonna dry off the gasket surface. I did go ahead and put some PB down in the cylinders so that that it's not running dry on the cylinder walls. We're gonna go ahead and spray both sides of that gasket down with Permatex copper spray and hope that it seals, because a lot of guys online say you're supposed to anneal them or something, where you heat it up and it makes the copper soft. But I think we're just gonna spray it with copper, the Permatex copper, and then slap it on there. So the block is prepped, and here's the head gasket. I've got this copper spray from Permatex. We're gonna just spray each side of this, let it set up. I'm probably gonna wipe this down first, make sure it's all clean of any debris. We'll spray it, we'll set it on there, and then I'll go get the head, and we'll throw the head on top of it. That way it's all pretty much done and ready to roll. Now I'm going to throw a glove on here a minute so I can hold this gasket up and not get copper all over me. And also to keep my grimy fingers off of this thing. And I'm going to go away from the motor here a minute, spray this thing down. Okay, I got her all sprayed down with copper. Apparently you got to let it dry first. So I'm going to do that here a sec. That's what it looks like, something like that. Okay, head gasket's going on. The copper is all tacked up. There it is. I'm gonna go get the head now. And we're gonna plop the head right on top of that. Here goes the head. If I can finagle it on here. Let's see. There she goes. And there she is. All right. So everything's kind of snugged down, nothing's torqued. I don't really actually know the torque specs, but I guess I'm gonna need to know that if I want to put these rockers on. So I'm gonna see if I can maybe find that real quick, and then we'll torque this down, hopefully get the rest of this head put together. Wow, 40 is nothing. So I never heard back from anybody, so basically what I'm doing is I'm starting at 40 foot-pounds, and I'll try 50 after that. I don't think it's very high on these things because when I took the studs off that donor motor, it was pretty easy to get these things off. So I'm gonna try maybe 50, 60 and see if it holds. Okay, going up to 50. Okay, this is 50. And it seems like we can still go even more than that. Okay, I'm gonna go up to 60. I'll probably stop at 60 because I don't believe this would take much more than that. That feels pretty good. So that's 60 foot-pounds. Unless I hear anything different from anybody on the Facebook Nash club, we'll probably try to run with this. If we do hear anything different, we'll go ahead and pull the rockers off, torque everything again. I don't think it's going to be much off of what we got here, so I'm going to go ahead and throw the rockers on and put the push rods in. Leave the side plate off here while we do that. That way we can make sure they're all set in place. I'll probably go ahead and try to turn it over after we get that all installed. Make sure everything's moving the way it needs to, and then we'll put the side plate on. Should be like so. There we go. And then this rocker assembly right here. I think we're gonna have to adjust all these to the proper spec here. So to do that, I actually think I'm gonna still leave the side cover off so we can see when each lifter is at its lowest point is when we would adjust this to the lash that it needs to be at. Let's see here. I almost wonder if at this point we throw this thing in the car. Since I got to do all the work on these anyways, well, obviously with that new motor, we assumed we were not going to be using this one. It's kind of a bummer because we could have just left this one in the car, but now that I've been doing all the work on the ground here, I realize it might be even easier to work on it while it's up in the air. So I think we're at the point where we might throw it in there, set it in the frame again, and I can finish working on it in there. I like that idea.
Save your knees.
Yeah, my knees. My knees are knailing me. Alright. And now we scooch it.
1, 2.
Oh.
Someone rolled it off the back of their truck.
Yeah, for real, right? Alright, let me go down a little. You ready?
Yeah.
You sure?
For sure.
Oh, if you're lucky, I'm getting my feet out from under the car just in case.
Oh, I won't anywhere.
Those Harbor Freight jack stands?
Exactly. Yeah. See,
just the front ones.
I like to keep my feet, so.
Okay, push her forward a little. Oh, hold on there. Bit. We need to get that shaft into the pilot bearing or whatever.
Is this coffee?
Yeah, it was from earlier today. I was out here chilling like a villain.
Oh, you're using tuning?
No, I came in here to clean up a little bit, as you can tell. And
Yeah, like one little swipe.
Oh,
Everything's
I went a little too far.
Tuning.
Even better. You want to push back a little? Just a little.
Oh.
You're good.
More?
Yep. Well, it's in.
Sweet.
Okay, well, we got that motor in. We've got a lot of work ahead of us in the next couple of days. Hopefully, I can get this thing finished up and we can try firing it up here in the next day or so. There's not too much wiring or anything to hook up, so at least we got it in there tonight. All right, so now that we got this motor in here, I think it's time to adjust these valves. Things are a little different lengthwise than the other motor, which is not a big deal. We can adjust all these. So I couldn't find too much info on it online. So I picked a size here. We're gonna go ahead and set the lash on all these valves. And then once that's done, I can throw the side plate on, and this side should be pretty wrapped up. Let's get to this. All this is screwdriver and a wrench. You get it set just like that. And boom. So I'll go through, I have it at top dead center right now. I'll go through the 6 that are on the bottom of their stroke right now. I'll turn it 180, do the other 6 then, and we should be good to go. So I got all the valves adjusted now. Everything should be good here. All prepped to throw the side panel on. Let's grab that. We got a brand new gasket from that kit that we got. And we should be able to just throw this thing right on here. Slide it right in place. Now these bolt holes on this thing go all the way through, so I threw a little bit of RTV on there, on each bolt, just so that hopefully we won't have any issues with that, with oil leaking through. Let's see if I can get this in here without pulling the distributor cap. It took me a minute, but I finally got this side panel on. I had to pull the distributor out just a little bit to get past there. I just got to sink all these down, and then we should be good to go after that point. We pretty much got everything wrapped up on the motor here as far as what I think I want to get to be able to turn the motor over. We got oil in it. And obviously we haven't thrown the manifolds on yet with carb. The distributor here is, I think, how it's supposed to go. The rotor inside, there's a little pin on it that wasn't really set in there real good, so I'm not 100% sure on that. We need to get a fuel line from here to here yet, because that was broken. We went ahead and threw a battery in here. The battery is on the passenger side under the seat, 6 volt. I got it all hooked up here with the cables, and as you can see, we got a light on the radio here. And let's see here. We got lights on the dash. That's pretty neat. So we got power. As far as seeing if this thing turns over, you have the key, and then you have this on-off switch. If you turn the key, it pops this little button out, and then it allows you to flip the switch to on. But I'm not really sure where to go from there, if I'm being honest. So I'm gonna leave that on a minute, and we're gonna go up front and jump the little starter relay. I should be able to jump it with my needle nose pliers here. There she goes. That's pretty cool. I'm welding my pliers though. So it does turn over, that's good. It doesn't really help us out too much. So we're gonna have to figure out what the dealio is inside there to get this thing to work off key or button. After that, I guess we got to start figuring out how to get fire out of this thing. I think now that we know it turns over and everything looks like it's working pretty well, all the rockers were rocking, I might go ahead and throw this manifold on with the carburetor. We'll get that fuel line on there, try to get fuel up to the carb. We'll get the valve cover on. I probably won't worry about the coolant system quite yet, but first things first, we'll probably have to see if we can figure out how to turn this thing over from inside the cab, and we'll go from there. So after a little bit of investigation, I showed you the key and the on switch there, but I didn't realize that there's the headlight switch here, and then here, this is actually the starter switch, as you can hear. So the starter starter button is right up there, and she turns over. So that's awesome. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn this off, and we can now move on to focusing on wrapping up this motor. So we're just checking to see if we got spark at the points here a minute. As you can see, there's 2 sets of points. I just push on. Oh, you're doing the headlight button. We are definitely not getting spark at the points. All right. So we have power out here because I can go like this and my wrench will spark. Oh yeah, I'm getting spark at these points. Give her a shot. Oh, no way! At least we know it's sparking now.
Yes.
She's trying to wake up from her.
How many years?
60,
Hibernation?
63-year nap.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get this thing on here. Okay. Like so. So we pulled a late one last night. I ended up buttoning everything up with this manifold here. Trickle charged the battery all night. I got it back in the car. I want to see if I can get this thing to fire off. Then we can start putting this whole front end back together, hopefully. And also tying in coolant and just making sure everything is all good with here. Getting the front end on, fan, all that. Get the valve cover on. I think I'm leaving the valve cover off for now until we can actually get this thing to fire. Make sure oil's pumping. But I'm gonna go ahead here and give her another shot and see if we can get this thing to pop off for us. Oh my goodness, no way! Woo! It's gonna work. This is awesome. If we can get fuel up here, I think this thing will run for us. There's a lot of work to do today. We got 2 days left to get this thing going. Hopefully we can make it. My buddy's coming over with the fuel line, hopefully. And he's also coming over with the front body parts. He found out this morning we are actually missing one of the fenders, so that's a bummer. But it's not a deal breaker. We can run it without fenders for a few days or until we can find one.
Ready for ignition?
Yeah, give her a shot. Is it on?
It is now.
Oh. Woo! There it is! It's heard! Woo! Yeah, baby! Dude, no way.
There's like no vibration to that motor.
It's gonna have it closed off all the way around.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
That's probably why.
Dude, no way.
I think it's gonna take some fuel.
I think so. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, we're getting a heat in her.
Cool.
That's sweet.
Yeah!
Dude, this thing hasn't fired off for how long?
It's a 61, so how many years that is? If you're done with that.
63 years. It hasn't fired off in 63 years.
And that has been sitting in the trunk for who knows how long.
So just from that short little rip that we just did, even though I blew the exhaust out, we got all this. Oh man, it went all over. That's like, is that like rat poison?
Might be. Dried up rat poison?
Wow, that was all in the exhaust still. Blew her out, bunch of rust. Man, that is awesome.
Pretty cool.
So now I think what we're gonna do, we're gonna tie in all the coolant. I'm gonna bypass the coolant system over there. It's pretty complicated looking.
Dude, what's that like? Gas scoop or something?
Back of here, The water pump, we're just gonna tie into the top of the head there. So it's all just a sealed system. And then we just have the radiator ports, and that's it. So then we can hopefully maybe get this thing going for good. So this should slip. It should be.
These 2 pinch plates.
Yeah, the pinch plate, yeah. Right there. Oh.
Does yours go vertical?
Let me see what vertical, yeah. Go.
Stretch it out a little bit.
Okay. Got her? Yep. That should set right down on there.
Let's see if I can throw it.
Let's get these on a minute to hold it in place.
Can these front wheels go on, or those be in your way?
Let me get the horn on there first,
All right.
and then we'll get the front wheels on.
No rush.
Okay, fans on. Oh, and we gotta tighten these down yet too. All right, front clip is on. We got the coolant right up at the top. It's holding. We got a few little leak issues, not a huge deal. We got them all sealed up. Again, water pump runs off the back of the generator. Pretty neat deal. Got the fan back on here. I believe we have to put a little bit of oil in here. A bunch of that leaked out when we had the fan off. And I'm sure it is to lubricate the bearing here. There's a little fill nut right there, or a little fill screw right there. So we're starting to put the wheels on. And this is what we got. Old school tires, painted up steel wheels. Got the hubcaps. We're gonna go ahead and get all 4 on and set this thing on the ground. Woohoo!
Yippee-pee-ya.
Well, I think it's time. We're gonna see if we still got it off the ground. We're gonna see if it runs on its own. As you can see, we still got the valve cover off. Here we go. So we went ahead and swapped the 6 volt for an 8 volt. We weren't getting enough rotation on this thing. It just wasn't wanting to fire up. So 8 volts in, let's see how she does. Oh yeah. Let's see if she stays running on her own fuel here. It sure seems like it. Wow. Wow. Ah, no way.
Coolant's moving.
This thing runs great.
Got coolant movement.
We got coolant flowing. That's awesome. Uh-oh. This thing appears to be running really well. Let it sit here and idle for a few. I'd like to see more oil up here, but
I see it coming through. It's dripping out.
yeah. Yeah, because the line just feeds it right there,
Yeah.
and it should be running through the thingy.
Dripping out of the back one back here.
Oh, nice. Okay, so we should have oil there. In that case, I'll go ahead and throw the valve cover back on. This thing's running good. You wanted to do a quick tranny test? Pop her in gear. Let's see if the transmission goes into gear here. man.
Oil pressure.
We got oil pressure?
It's reading oil pressure and
Oh, yeah. Oil pressure, sky high, perfect. Temperature, right where we want it. If those are correct, that's awesome. Let's see if she goes in gear here.
Got condensation coming up.
Here's reverse. Yep. There's forward. Woo, that's high gear right there. Transmit. Hey, how about the brakes? Did you? You gonna hit the brakes? Oh shoot! He's hitting the brakes. It's not happening. Uh-oh. Woohoo! Oh man, I think we need to put her on the ground, back her out. You want to? Oh, this is awesome. I can't believe it.
I was gonna look and see if I could shine a light down there.
This thing seems to be running so good. Let her burn some 63-year-old dust off of her. See where our temp's at. Temp seems to still be doing good. That's awesome. I can't believe it.
Oh, hold on, we're leaking something.
We're leaking fuel. That's no bueno. Well, since that fuel pump leaks, we do want to end up repairing that eventually to keep this thing as original as possible. It works great. It just, the diaphragm on the pump is obviously torn. So we'll see if we can get some parts for that. But until then, my buddy's running to the parts store right now. He's gonna get a 6-volt fuel pump. We're gonna put that in line. So while he's doing that, I'm gonna go ahead and throw this valve cover on here since everything's pretty well good to go. When he gets back, if we get this fuel pump installed here, we're gonna go ahead and back this thing out of the garage. We're gonna pressure wash the whole car, and I don't know if we're gonna be able to pull it off, but we're gonna attempt to try to clear coat this thing tomorrow. I should also add that we checked the fluid in the rear diff, and it was pretty well still pretty good, so I just topped it off. And the transmission as well is a little bit low, so we're going to be adding fluid to that. He's picking some more gear oil up, and that way all of the fluid should be good to go. All right, now we should be ready to throw this on here. Ah, beautiful, beautiful. All right, valve cover's installed. Is valve and ignition settings. Oh, I wish I would have seen that earlier.
Wait, what? It says it right on there?
Oh man, you can't really read it. But see, I just set the valve. I couldn't find info on it, so I set the valve where I thought it should be. But boy, it runs like a top.
That's insane.
It runs like an absolute
Well, you
top.
did something right. Already said that.
I finally did something right. So,
oh man,
when
that
Jacob
is
gets
too
back,
cool.
all I gotta do is swap out the fuel pump for the electric one, wire that to power, and fill up the fluid on the transmission, and we can back it out. So we're just double checking the transmission level, and I've got the side port pulled off, and when I dip my finger, I don't get any fluid on it. Maybe a tiny bit, but it's probably just hanging out in there. I don't feel any fluid, so we're gonna go ahead and dump a bunch of gear oil in there and get her topped off. So we ended up putting this 6-volt electric fuel pump in here. Routed it where it needed to go. As you can see, it's working fine. She's running like a top. Beautiful. Looks like it burned off most of anything it had in the motor here or on the motor, and there's absolutely no smoke out of the tailpipe. We're still getting rat poison out of there. You can see all the rat poison on the ground out here. That was all packed in the muffler. And this is what our wheel situation looks like now. We got beauty rings, center caps, looks phenomenal. Next step, hopefully we can get this thing clear coated. We got one more day to work on this thing. And they'll probably piddle with it after that a little bit. You want to hit that spotlight. The spotlight up there actually works. Oh! That is bright! Wow! I was looking right in that thing. Woo! Spotlight works real good. We're gonna go deer hunting later.
Yeah.
I mean coyote hunting. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and set her on the ground here. Oh yeah, that looks awesome. Well, there she is. She's on the ground on her own wheels. And it's now a running car. We're going to attempt to back this thing out of the garage. Let's see how it does. Okay, we got the hood here. We're gonna go grab that and set the hood on. Oh boy. Heavy one. Outward. Oh, something like that. Look at that. Nash Ambassador 6. Boy, that's cool. They don't line up right now. We gotta scooch one up or back. We'll figure that out.
All right, last few nights has been crazy. Staying up till midnight, 2 o'clock in the morning, working on this thing. Rust Rainer got it running. That's awesome. So I pressure washed it yesterday. Got her all dried off, so we're gonna start taping her and getting ready for clear coat.
Okay, we're all taped off. Getting ready to spray some clear. Got the hood out here. I think we got her all prepped. We just got to wipe her down real quick with wax and grease remover. And we're ready to spray. Let's go.
Woo, Danya! Woo, Danya!
All right, so I think we got her all finished up here. Got a couple coats on her. We're going to move the hood out of the way back there, and then we're going to roll this thing out into the sun. We'll take a better look at it. It's looking pretty good. Here's the hood. Yeah, it really makes that color pop. That is awesome. So we're gonna get things cleaned up a little bit here. We'll get it rolled out in the sun.
Oh.
Get her all the way out. Right out there. Wow.
Even though this has been in a container for how many years, it still looks awesome.
Wow. That really brings out the old colors. Looks so cool.
That looks pretty all right, huh?
Clear's dry. We're gonna take it on its maiden voyage. Okay, we're attempting to take this puppy down the road to go to the fuel station a minute and get some fuel in this thing. The throttle is giving us some issues, but we'll see if we can work through it.
Poison just blew out.
Oh, there it goes. Shoot, man, you gotta figure it out, son. You're the throttle whisperer.
Oh, the exhaust is under it. Wow, it's like really hot. It's searing my anus.
It's a lot of shot. Well, it looks like we're not making that one.
We didn't make that leg.
She's
I was
alright.
gonna try to go for it,
Sick. I made it 10 feet.
Nobody?
Look how low I am.
Yeah, I can see that.
What's up, girl? Oh, toothpick.
Oh,
Dude,
toothpick?
Oh, no
This is-
Toothpick
way.
from 1961.
look, these are probably Howard's toothpicks right here.
You gotta keep those.
Just stuck those in there.
You gotta keep those. You got
That's
toothpicks up in the
pretty
visor
cool.
right there.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
that is cool.
Goodness.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we gotta clean. We gotta do some reupholstery.
Okay.
Oh, little scroll napkins.
Hey, we got a
Oh, a mirror, a little privacy mirror.
Service
What's that,
record.
a
Grab
service record?
handle.
Oh, look at the pencil.
wow, that's cool.
Oh, that's
You got a mirror here, the vanity mirror on the passenger side, and
Oh,
it
yeah,
also
it says,
has
yeah, lubricate
service
chassis.
record right here. Change oil, check battery, lubricate chassis. A couple other things here. That is super cool. There's even a pencil up there.
That sounds like melting my
You don't
face.
see nothing like that anymore. There we go. High gear. Oh, you got this thing dialed. You got her figured out. Well, as far as me working on this car, I'm out of time. We were really into the gun. My buddy was ready to throw in the towel. It really took the wind out of his sails when that motor showed up in pieces. He spent a bunch of money on it, and we were hoping to just throw that motor in here, fire it off, and figure out a way to hook up the exhaust to that motor, and that would have been it. But things don't always go that way, and sometimes you just gotta roll with the punches. So I had to talk him off the ledge, and I'm kind of glad I did. Now we're running with the original motor and head. We'll continue to try to piece the rest of this thing back together through the next couple of weeks probably, or even through the next year. It really doesn't matter. It's gonna be stored inside from here on out. They're gonna be taking it from here. They're gonna bring it to a place where they're gonna be set up for their father's 70th birthday party. He's going to be extremely excited to see this thing in running condition again. So without further ado, let's see how the reveal goes.
Drive this car?
No, never.
Are you surprised?
I am very.
Oh, the balloon's still on the front. Lost it. Oh.
Yeah, even the clock light works. It's incredible.
Oh yeah,
there's don't work, but I gotta figure that out.
There's no windshield wipers at the moment. Yep.
Everybody but you. A lot of late nights in the garage at my buddy's house.
I've been scrubbing everything.
Yeah, Lori cleaned it. Horn don't work. I tried that. That was the first thing I tried was the horn. But this is just the birthday for now, and we'll get her fixed up and get her right. Just hard enough getting it running.
So I don't know if I'm going to be able to back in.
That's fine. You just pull it straight in. Just remember the brakes are pretty soft. New master cylinder, new brake lines, but the brakes need to be adjusted.
The brakes are incredibly soft.
Yeah, you can just leave it straight in, and I can.
So once again, I'd like to thank you guys for watching. We actually really enjoyed working on this thing. If you would like to see more stuff like this, or some of the other builds we've been working on, please let us know in the comments. We really enjoy working on this stuff. We really enjoy finding these things, bringing them back to life. We currently do have a ton of rigs lined up, ready to be worked on. If you haven't subscribed, please do us a favor, subscribe to the channel. It'll help us to continue to do more builds, do more of these things, do more of other trucks and cars, and a lot of these old rigs that have been sitting for years. And also like and share, and leave us a comment if you would like, and we'll catch you on the next one.